Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for the 15th of July. Chicago, USA. Good afternoon, dear viewers. Today we will tell you about a tornado that recently passed through Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. The storm system that spread across the metropolitan area caused significant property damage and affected the operation of O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. 172 flights were canceled and another 550 were indefinitely delayed. According to the National Weather Service, a large and very destructive tornado touched down in Summit, Illinois, shortly before 6:30 p.m. local time. Hundreds of travelers and airport staff gathered on the lowest level of the terminal as the tornado approached O'Hare International Airport. At least 20 to 30 residences in Elgin County were severely damaged by the tornado. Many trees were uprooted and some homes had no roofs. In rural Illinois, the tornado left behind a range of damage. Several barns and roofs were damaged, and numerous trees and power lines fell. At least 3 tornadoes have touched down in northeastern Illinois, according to confirmation. Emergency responders are currently on the scene and are treating victims. Zaragoza, Spain. A thunderstorm that swept across northeastern Spain caused torrential rain and hail and turned the streets into raging rivers, with terrible consequences. A video taken in the Aragon region shows fast-moving torrents sweeping cars off the streets. One of the hardest-hit areas was the city of Zaragoza, with an estimated population of over 650,000. Local authorities said that several water rescues and evacuations had taken place, but did not report any fatalities as a result of the flash flooding. According to Spain's state meteorological agency, Zaragoza and nearby Alcañiz received more than 4 inches of rain per hour. Poland. There was an accident in Poland when a balloon carrying 15 passengers crashed into a power line. The accident resulted in the collapse of 2 concrete poles and the severing of the wires of the transmission line, a medium-voltage power line and a branching low-voltage line that was supplying power to a large farm. The pilot was able to fly another kilometer and landed safely. Fortunately, none of the passengers were injured. Work is currently underway to restore power supply. Mexico. The city of Aguascalientes, Mexico has experienced terrible flooding that has claimed many cars. The storm caused storm drains that were unable to cope with the unusually heavy rain that turned the roads into rivers. Many vehicles were left stranded by the flooding that engulfed much of the city. Municipal police warned of the risk of flooding at the Cedeza Dam and urged motorists to stay off city streets. Civil protection officers pulled several people out of the water and rescued passengers and stranded cars. Brazil. A non-tropical cyclone has caused significant damage in southern Brazil. According to the Civil Defense Service, 1 person died, 24 were injured, and about 790,000 users were left without electricity. The cyclone caused flooding and caused the most damage in the states of Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina, near the border with Argentina and Uruguay. In the city of Rio Grande, 1 person was killed when winds of up to 140 kilometers per hour caused a tree to fall on a house. The National Institute of Meteorology has declared a red alert in Brazil's southern region due to an out-of-tropical cyclone, already the 3rd in the region in less than a month. Civil defense officials and municipalities prepared gyms and schools as evacuation shelters. At least 10 motorways in the state of Rio Grande do Sul were blocked due to damage caused by the cyclone. Michigan. A water tornado that was apparently spotted on Lake Michigan near the pier at Ivy Pier was confirmed Thursday. The National Weather Service confirmed a water tornado 2 kilometers offshore at North Avenue Beach, based on video footage. The National Weather Service is assessing severe storms in the area. Italy. This time Italy was hit by strong hurricanes. In Milan, near the Malpensa airport, there was another natural disaster. Several parts of the country were covered by a suddenly formed cyclone, which brought hurricane-force winds, large amounts of rainfall and hail. The city of Varese suffered the most from the crazy storm, where the wind reached a speed of 250 kilometers per hour. The wind was so strong that parts of roofs flew off houses, trees were uprooted and cars were overturned. There were power outages due to torn electrical wires. There was extensive property damage. In Ravenna province, the storm damaged seaside towns, felled many trees and destroyed dozens of cars. On the beach, footage showed hundreds of fallen trees, smashed cars and destroyed buildings. The roof of a restaurant building was also blown off. At the same time, heavy hail fell in the city of Pescara, after which 20 people sought treatment in hospital. Slovenia. A massive downpour with hail has hit Slovenia. Forecasters' predictions have come true and some parts of Slovenia have been hit by new storms with strong wind gusts, heavy rain and hail, which fell in the capital. A swollen river flooded several buildings and a record amount of hail fell in Dolinsk. Tyumen region. Strong hail was observed in some districts of the Tyumen region. Adverse weather conditions are forecasted for Sunday, July 16th. This information was shared by the Information Center of the regional government. In the regional capital Tyumen, the streets were flooded by downpours, and in Isetsky and Bogindinsky, the hail was just terrible. Residents of the Isetsky district report that hail the size of an egg fell. Photos and videos they shared on social media, noting that cars, roofs of houses and vegetable gardens were affected. For several days in a row, Tyumen and the Tyumen region have been languishing in a 40-degree heat wave. The abnormal heat in the region has broken the temperature record 3 times, with thermometer columns reaching plus 38 degrees since July 11th. And here came the long-awaited rain, but not just rain, but a heavy downpour. In Tyumen, the crossroads of Artemanova and Karnatsevicha streets were badly flooded. Montasnikov and Energetikov streets also floated. On the territory of the region again predicted large hail, about it report regional meteorologists. It is noted that drivers are advised not to leave their vehicles above the open sky. Also during the day will be a thunderstorm and heavy rain. Dagestan. A tourist car from Orenburg had an accident in Dagestan. The car went off the road and hung over a cliff. One wheel was stuck in the ground, which prevented it from falling into the abyss. The people spent 24 hours in this position, as communications did not work and they could not call for help. Locals spotted the hovering car and called the police, who carried out a rescue operation. While pulling the car out, the excavator that was dragging it nearly broke loose. All the people were rescued. Abinsk. A furniture factory in the town of Abinsk in the Krasnodar territory has burst into flames. According to the Regional Department of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, the fire occurred in a hangar on an area of 250 square meters. On the video shot by eyewitnesses, you can see the scarlet glow of the fire, flames over the roof of the building, and clouds of white smoke. To fight the fire, 22 people and 8 units of equipment were sent, including 16 people and 5 units of equipment from the Russian Emergencies Ministry. Croatia. Powerful forest fires are raging in Croatia. The fire is spreading near the Adriatic town of Šibenik in the east of the country. No fatalities have been reported, but the fire has destroyed one of the villages near the town. Rescue services counted dozens of burnt-out houses and cars. 56 firefighters, 20 pieces of special equipment and 3 aeroplanes are involved in extinguishing the forest fire. The authorities believe that the abnormal heat wave was the cause of the wildfire. The temperature in the region has not fallen below 40 degrees Celsius for several days. Slovakia. Emergency regime in Slovakia was introduced due to soil drought. A decree was signed on the introduction of the emergency regime from July 14 until a special order during the growing season for 3 consecutive decades. The head of the region noted that the moisture reserve in the arable layer of the soil was less than 10 millimeters, which is a dangerous phenomenon. In this regard, the emergency regime was introduced in 4 municipal districts. Crops on the area of more than 4,000 hectares were affected, and the amount of damage exceeded 211 million rubles. Abakan, Khakassia. Residents of Abakan were left without water and electricity due to the storm that hit the capital of Khakassia and its surroundings. The storm, with thunderstorms and gale-force winds, played out in different districts of the city, leading to fan blackouts. Some water intakes are not working due to lack of electricity. The gale-force winds felled trees and road signs, and in some places it reached such a force that even the transmission line poles of the power transmission lines could not withstand it. Other damage was also recorded. Following the substations, 4 poles went down, depriving residents of electricity. Kazakhstan. A fire broke out in the Akmola region of Kazakhstan after a lightning strike engulfed 15 hectares of dry wood near the village of Biktal. More than 40 firefighters and volunteers fought the fire, but they were hampered by strong winds gusting up to 25 meters per second. Also on the territory of the Burabay State National Nature Park, a large fire was extinguished, which affected dry leaves and grass.